Hello and welcome to our Songwriting podcast.
We're your hosts. My name is Henry.
And I'm Andrew.
And today we're going to be discussing the effects of a facilitator in a songwriting environment in group settings. We have a couple guests with us here today. We have Austin.
Hello.
Tell us about yourself, Austin. Why are you in this room with us talking?
So I was in the Songwriting Ensemble, was that spring 24, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, spring
Last
24.
Yep. And I've also written many of my own songs in my own time and with bands, so yeah.
And also with us today, we have Cade. Cade, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself as well?
Hi, I was in songwriting this semester, and I have also written my own songs in my day.
So is that what you guys do in Songwriting Ensemble? You write your own songs?
Hence the name, yes.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like maybe you write one song, but I don't know, it's more like writing other people's songs.
The people that are in your
that are in the
group?
group. So it's not like, oh, here's 3 songs I wrote, everyone do that. You know,
Right.
it's taking other people's songs and making them pretty.
So when I went and I observed you guys doing it in your group, one of the songs was called Meg's Song. And that's how you guys are kind of referring to the songs, just
Yeah.
by the person, I guess. It sounded like it was their idea. Is that kind of how it was, right? Like did they already have the whole song written, or did they come in with like one part?
So there was Meg's song, there was Nicole's song, and then there was Cade's song.
Right.
And all of our songs had parts added to them, but they had a somewhat of a foundation, at least like 65%. And things were changed, you know, people had ideas for different chords, and we would try them out, you know, and I don't know, we didn't really have too much discourse, you know, we just were all on the same page.
It's like you had the piano player like rocking out on that too. He was cool,
Yeah.
right? But I can't imagine like when you write your songs, you think about a piano part, right? Because you're a bass player and you do a lot of metal and rock. So that was probably unexpected to be like, all right, let's throw some keys in on this piece, right?
Yeah, I guess like I have least experience with keys in a setting, but Hugh's a really good keyboardist, and I got to see that side. You get more melodic views of it.
Yeah, so you gotta be open for like whatever is gonna happen.
Yeah, so one thing that I observed when I sat in on some rehearsal time, as well as did a couple of interviews with your group as well as another one, I noticed a lot of people talking about how they never would have thought of writing songs with the people that they were placed in a group with, and how the group work actually was very beneficial and a nice surprise. Do you think that that's a beneficial thing to be placed in a group by a facilitator as opposed to finding your own people too?
Most definitely. I think it's a really fresh view, and I don't know, because when we write songs, we tend to have the same 5 people we write songs with, but having to be put in a new environment, you know, you got to feel people out, and you weren't as comfortable as you usually were, and I don't know, it's a good real world experience, because you always move on and you always find new people and different perspectives. And I wasn't going in like, oh, we're gonna be a punk band and all this. Like I was like, let's make a cumulative effort.
See what happens, like how it plays out.
Yeah.
And Austin, you mentioned that you write a lot of music outside of a facilitated environment, but we also did Songwriting Ensemble together. Do you want to correct me if I'm wrong, but what I've observed is that a lot of the time the songwriting process feels more natural when the facilitator is not in the room as opposed to when they're in the room. Is that something that you agree with, or?
Yeah, I definitely think it's kind of was the general consensus when I did the class. But I don't know. The group that we were in was interesting because there was a lot of different ideas of what the genre was, and a lot of different influences blending together, and it was somewhere between prog jazz and southern rock with a little bit of reggae splashed in there.
Some Latin.
Some
Latin
rhythms, some one-drop reggae rhythms.
Yeah.
Tastefully thrown in.
I don't think I would say tastefully, but they were definitely
the
there.
Nicest way to put it.
Yeah. So
easy personal touches from each member of the group.
Yeah, there was a big Bob Marley influence happening for like the last month.
One of us had just watched the Bob Marley movie because it came out that spring, and our percussionist really liked the idea of playing.
One of our percussionists.
We did have two percussionists.
We did. Wow. We had some rotating acts. So yeah, there was a lot of curveballs getting thrown. I think when we were in it, there was a lot of people that weren't on the same page of just what was going on at certain times, what they were playing musically, as far as what instrument they decided they wanted to play up until like the day of the show. So there was a lot of creative stuff that I think the facilitator kind of had to shut down.
Did?
Yeah.
For a purpose of we had a deadline that we had to meet, and it was like one of those things like it was an ever expanding, ever growing songwriting process where like the songs the songs we wrote as a group were always being rearranged and rewritten and added to, like up until like the week before the show. So that was an interesting thing.
Yeah.
So who was the facilitator?
It's Chris Lee.
Dr.
Dr. Lee.
Yes.
We actually had the opportunity to speak to Dr. Lee about this as well, and we got to ask him about his, not necessarily philosophy, but his approach to facilitating an environment like the Songwriting Ensemble. And to summarize what he said that he does not want to write the songs for the group, but he does his best to try and guide the creative processes of the group. If they're stuck, he will give an idea to kind of jumpstart that creative process and let them go from there. And then also try and nip any bottlenecks in the bud before they happen. Just a bunch of like preventative maintenance almost.
On a jazz song.
Correct.
Needed to be
correct
fixed right away.
So he approached it with the idea of trying to keep the environment as open-minded so everyone can feel valued, that the environment feel hospitable, not hostile, right?
Although at times it got hostile.
It did, but that was unfortunately part of the group that we were in.
Yeah, can you talk about that a little bit though? Like what's hostile?
So
towards each other, or was it because the facilitator had ideas he didn't like?
To sum it up, that group had a couple of people who really wanted to take the group in separate directions. We had a player who wanted to do a bunch of upper extension jazz chord kind of progressions, kind of think Steely Dan, prog rock kind of
Stevie Wonder
kind of progressions. And then we had other people who are like, I'm just trying to have fun. This is really hard. And there was not a lot of agreement on how to approach that. And some people checked out a little when during the songwriting processes, other people
I also think,
argued.
And I think I know the people we're speaking of that we're talking about this. When certain people's ideas weren't accepted by the group, they also checked out.
Oh, really?
Physically, they would leave the room.
Yes.
And not come back for the rest of rehearsal.
Which is, I've had the opportunity to play in a decent amount of ensembles and bands and groups, and there's always usually someone who has a little bit harder head than the rest of the group. And whether musically they're ahead of everybody else in the group or it's just a personal ego thing, those type of attitudes kind of take down the whole group regardless of what it is, if they're just more experienced in their playing or if they just think their ideas are the best. But yeah, I think that type of energy in any group always kind of takes away from the potential of it, even if they are the greatest at what they're doing.
That's unfortunate.
And
Yeah.
Cade, you were in the ensemble this semester. Does your experience reflect what we're discussing right now, or did you have a more positive environment to work in?
Well, I think we all quickly like got a read on each other. You know, like we didn't. If we had disagreements, they were minor and never like hostile. Like you can have you can try. We would always try everyone's idea, you know, and make everyone feel heard. And I think that is the best for the creative environment. And as far as the facilitator coming in, I think he's good in doses, like maybe like a 10-15 minute period to get us in check, because he doesn't care about feelings as much. He wants deadlines, you know, so he'll say the hard things, but him being there the whole time, you know, it ruins our flow state.
And I recall when I interviewed your group in particular that I believe it was Nicole mentioned that having Dr. Lee checking in occasionally kept you guys accountable in terms of meeting those goals. Do you think that your group would have had as much success if you were songwriting at the same time but without a facilitator present?
No. And I don't know if that's just because we had, like, all of us had so many other classes, and like we'd put the least amount of practice into songwriting just because, you know, we had so many other, we were all full time and we got to get everything done. But I feel like, you know, having him there, you know, he held us accountable for showing up and having a product.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for coming and chatting with us today. We appreciate it. To our listeners, come follow us all on social media. Pretend I'm telling you the tags right now. And yeah, thank you very much for listening.
Goodbye.
Songwriting Ensemble.